3 Linux commands that I use every day that I think you need to know to accelerate your coding career. The commands we will use today are watch, tail, and grep. I know they sound funny, but I've used them almost every day for most of my 15+ full stack career. I don't know why we don't talk about them more. Let me give you a quick example. The date command shows the date and time, and if I run it and then run it again, you can see the seconds have changed from 45 seconds to 48 seconds. I run it one last time, now it's 53 seconds. But instead of me running this command over and over again, I can use the watch command with the end flag with an interval of 5 seconds, and I'll put the command that I want it to run on that interval at the end, hit enter, and you can see it says 2 AM, 9 minutes and 17 seconds, and in 5 seconds it will jump to 22, and then it should jump to 27. There we go. Before we get into the details of this video, I have created a free checklist download for you project maintainers, so you can make sure your projects are welcoming and stand out from the crowd, so you can get the stars, forks, and lots of contributions. I'll add a link to the description below. So the watch command that I've already mentioned is used to run any command at certain intervals, for example every 5 seconds. This is useful if you're monitoring, say, the disk space or list of files in a directory as you copy files over. I use date as an example because it's really easy for me to demo it to you. I showed you 5 seconds, but let me prove to you that it works. Let's make it 10 seconds. And now it says 2 AM, 10 minutes and 55 seconds. So it should jump in 10 seconds to 2 AM, 11 minutes 05. There you go. So we know this is working, and you can use it for any command that you want, not just date, but for file listings, disk space with df, and we have some other real-time commands coming up. Next command that I think is super useful is the tail command. It shows the data from the end of the file. It's opposite to the head command. Just like with both commands, it's possible to specify how many lines to output. For example, if I did head package.json file, it will output the first 10 lines. I could also do tail package.json and output the last 10 lines. And as I mentioned, you can specify how many lines. For example, if we wanted head the first 2 lines package.json, it would output the first 2 lines, and tail will also output the last 2 lines. But what's amazing about the tail command is you can read a file in real time. And you may think, why would you want to do this? The reason why you'd want this to read out a file in real time is if you're looking at a log file. So let's take a log file, for example. So this is my system log file, and I put -f, and that means to read it out in real time. So now we're tailing the file, and you probably heard this comment a lot where people say, let's just tail the file and let's watch and see what happens. So let me hit enter a few times to create a bit of a space, a bit of a gap. And if I open a new window, oh, you can see things are going on without me doing anything. But let me open a new window. You can see as I open a new window, it said window has now been opened. And if I close it, we should see another event. I've closed it, another event has happened. There's lots of events going on in my system, and we're tailing the file, and the output of the file as real-time events happen. Control C to end that. That's how you can power up the tail command with its flags. And it is quite often we do want to tail log files so we can see what's happening as we make an interaction and see the output directly. The next command I'd like to share with you is the grep command. It's an acronym that stands for Global Regular Expression Print, but don't let regular expressions scare you. You can just use it for searching for strings, and with flags as well, you can make it really awesome. You can use it to search the contents of a file or the contents of the files within the folder. You can also get it to show the line numbers that string appears on in which file. Let me show you an example. Here's our log file again. I'm going to grep for the string code in the log file. Let me hit enter, and it appears loads of times, and it's quite a mess, but it's highlighted, which is really nice. However, what we can do is also use the end flag, which means specify the line numbers that it appears on. Let's hit enter again, and you can see these are the line numbers at the front. So on line 1446, this appears with code. What other flags do we have? I use the I flag a lot. That makes it case insensitive. Also, I use N, as I mentioned, to display the line numbers. I use R for recursive to search multiple files in a folder. Let's use the package.json example. I think that's a lot easier. If we grep for the word Stargate in the package.json file, and I want the line numbers to show. I've got 4 lines with the string Stargate on line 2, on line 18, 23, and 25. Do you want me to prove it? Let me open the package.json file and go to those lines. So let's pick one line, line 25. Let's have a look. Line 25, as you can see, there is Stargate on line 25. What else can the grep command do? We can also do an inverse search. You may think, why would I want to do that? Well, when you pipe commands together, you can filter out the data. So here, for example, we have 4 results, but maybe if we had a huge long list and we wanted to filter out the URL results because we did or didn't want them, let me show you how you can do that. So if I grep for the word Stargate in the package.json file, as we did before, we get 4 results. Let me filter out the URL results because those are the ones that I really want, for example. So I could go grep -n Stargate package.json, and now I can pipe it with another grep command, because grep doesn't actually just have to do a file, it can do the output from another command, which makes it super powerful. And I can say grep URL. Without specifying a file, it will use the output from the previous command as its input. Hit enter. Now you can see I only get 2 results. And when you're getting 2 or 4 results, it doesn't make much sense. But say we were getting 20, 30, 100 lines of results, you want to filter it down. I said inverse search as well. So what happens if you want the opposite? I can use -v, and that will say filter out the URL. So in this case, I will get lines 2 and lines 25 because it doesn't have URL in the results. And now you can see I have the opposite. How super powerful is that? And you can also chain another grep command if you want to. There's no limit to how many you can do. Another example where I pipe to grep commands is using the history. So that history brings out a lot of results. Say I wanted to find a specific command, like a commit command. I could go history, pipe it with grep, and I want to use git commit. That's the one I'm looking for. So I could just say commit, because git would be too many. It would have my push, it would have all other commands, but commit is quite specific. So now I'm going to grep it with commit, and now you can see I get all my git commit commands. Bonus tip, another thing you can do to search your history as well, you can use Control R, and then you can search your history by just typing. So if I type commit, it will bring up the last command I ran with the string commit in it. But I might not want that one. I can go backwards through the other ones by using Control R again, and now it's going to filter through. As you can see, it's filtering through the history. So this is Mongo, the next one should be ignore, the one before that should be filter, and you can see by using Control R, I'm filtering through my history, and when you want it, you can either press right to amend it or hit enter to run the command. Be careful, make sure you don't do this with delete commands, because by mistake, and I have done this before, where I was running through the history and I hit enter too quickly and I deleted a file that I shouldn't have deleted. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe below, and hit the bell button so you get notified every time I go live and post a video, and it's completely free to do so. Leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite Linux commands are, and any other Linux commands I should cover in a future video. I'll see you in Discord so we can chat between live streams and videos. Link in description below.